traveling freely. I am initiating a traffic stop. You are on a traffic stop right now.
You're saying there's been an emergency. By flashing those lights, you are violating the law. There's been no emergency whatsoever. I'm here. No, she's fine and good. Good sir. Just because you have the gun and the badge doesn't mean you're right. I know exactly what I'm saying. I know exactly these cops very well. We are activists. We know how to defend our rights very well, good sir. You are in bad form.
You need to come over here.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not, good sir.
You're
going to violate my constitutional rights. I'll have you in court and it's no big deal. I do this all the time. This is what I do. You cannot talk over me. You make no sense. You have no authority whatsoever. And as a corporate policy enforcer, good sir, so you understand I control the situation here.
You do not control the
situation. Yes, sir, I do.
No, you don't.
As I walk away.
You're not going to walk
away. I lawfully walk. No, do not.
You're not walking away. You're under arrest now. You're under arrest.
I have no clothes. I am not under arrest.
Yes, you
are. Sir, I'm not under arrest.
Get on the ground.
You're violating my rights. Good sir, you're violating my rights. You're on tape for violating my rights. I do not consent. I do not consent.
Quit resisting.
He's not resisting. He's not resisting.
Consent. You are violating my rights. No, I am not. You are violating my rights.
Quit resisting.
He's not resisting. He's not resisting. Stop. Stop.
You will get tased if you're
Stop.
fighting.
Stop.
You understand?
Stop.
Stop.
You guys have got to calm this situation. No, get your hands off of me.
Get back.
Get your hands the fuck off of me. Don't touch me. That's assault. Don't put your hands on me again. That's assault. Do not touch me. You have no right to put your hands on me.
Get back.
No.
Get out of my face. Get back.
Don't touch me again.
Hey, we will. Hold on.
Don't do it.
Don't touch me.
You're hurting him.
You are violating.
Stop.
Sir, he's got health issues.
No,
Listen, stop blocking me. I'm trying to
Get
talk.
back.
He's had multiple
Get
surgeries.
back.
He's had multiple surgeries.
Hey, listen.
I
Hold
broke
on a
my
minute.
fucking
Relax.
hip.
You're
I shattered my
escalating
hip.
it. Wait a
Do
minute.
you guys realize how bad you fucked up?
Hey,
Relax. Okay.
No, I'm only relaxed when you take me out of these cuffs and you act as gentlemen as you act as gentlemen. I ain't under shit.
Yeah, you are.
I ain't under shit. You ever heard of commercial lien? You ever heard of commercial lien?
Hey,
Your bond,
listen.
it's all bad.
Hey,
you
okay.
fucked up. You might want to retract at this very point, good sir. You fucked up.
We're going to stand you up and we're going to try to cover you up at the same time.
Don't be my best friend. I got this shit.
Okay.
Y'all ain't men. You're fucking bitches.
all right, you ready?
That's the reality.
Stand
Do you have any clothes on underneath?
No.
Besides your shirt?
No.
All right.
Why don't we?
Here.
Men
I'll
of
grab it.
honor.
Bobby,
Men
run inside
of honor.
our upstairs closet.
You're fucked.
There's blankets
You're
up there.
Fucked. You don't realize what you just did. Your smart move. Hey, call your sergeant. Actually, hey, take this fucking. Call your chief. Let him know. I got something to tell him. It's all bad. No, the whole department. You understand? This is what I do. You know,
Relax,
sovereigns.
dude, relax.
Okay, I'm not a bomber. What we do is use the law to fuck those. No. You unlawfully stopped me. I told that to you. I let you know what the law is. You don't know it. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You're violent. I ain't listening to shit. The only thing you can do is let me out of these motherfuckers and go about my day. You ain't saying shit. You have no standing.
Calm down.
I'm calm. You have no standing. My rights have been violated. I have done nothing wrong.
Right now, all right?
You guys see his arm is bleeding?
In front of all these people, so I can be naked as you violate my rights.
Where's the blood coming from?
Where's the blood coming from? Y'all fucked up. Mob mentality. Mob mentality. I have a reason and a right to be an asshole because I got tackled. Don't try to fucking pet me. Don't pet me.
Hey, stop.
Don't threaten to.
Stop.
I'll stop when I'm done.
Thank you.
I'll stop when I'm done.
Listen, there's
I
a
heard
outside.
this.
Did you guys request a line yet?
Call your fucking chief. Call your fucking chief. I gotta talk to him before you put me in any fucking car. Cause trust me, he's gonna hear what I got to say.
Calm down. We're gonna
Makes
stand
sense.
you up. We're gonna stand you up,
Makes
but we're gonna
sense.
keep you covered up, okay?
You're gonna keep me covered up, and you ain't putting me in the back of the car. Trust and believe. No, sir, I'm not. You don't realize each action. No. I'm a prisoner of war. I'm a prisoner of war. You understand?
We're gonna stand you up. You ready?
I'm a prisoner of fucking war. Sorry ass motherfucker. Hey, relax, I got this shit. Relax. Keep me naked, motherfuckers. Look what you're doing. You're a pathetic fucking mess. I got no goddamn heart. You can beat me up, beat me the fuck up. I'm beating you up. I'm naked. long as you guys have some goddamn respect for human fucking life, you sorry ass motherfucker. He's got this whole thing on tape.
That's fine, everything's on tape.
Y'all are done. Make the right decision. Call the fucking chief. I got something to say to him. I'll say as a man.
Okay.
Yeah, you ain't no need for all that shit, boy. Ain't no need for all that shit, boy. You take these fucking cuffs off, you've already done enough. I got this shit. Back the fuck up. I got this shit. I don't need you. Look at my dick. Look at my dick. Look at my dick.
We got a squad coming for him to check him out.
Hey, do you have like a pair of pants you can send him?
I'll grab him something. Just hang on to it. I'll grab it in a minute.
What the hell happened?
I don't know. All right, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the video that everyone has seen. That's the video that everyone has been talking about, and we're going to go through it tonight. We're going to pick it apart. We're going to put up multiple videos and that we shot that night, and we're going to go through all of them. Shayne is here with us. Say hi, Shayne.
Hello, hello. How y'all doing?
We got possibility of more people that were with us the other night when this happened coming over and joining us. So I know a lot of people are excited about this. By the way, you're listening to some long-haired hippie dude, and I suppose my name's not really important. We have a large network of people, anonymous, militia, constitutional activists, ralliers, demonstrators, just so many people that work with us in our network. I know most of you are listening tonight. Really appreciate you guys checking out this show, and I really appreciate everybody taking part in what it is we do. Constitutional activists, or if they prefer, sovereigns, we definitely want them to participate tonight. We think that as Shayne goes through the video and he explains why he reacted the way that he did, why he used the language he did, and why he asserted his rights the way he did, as we go through that, there'll be people that have questions, there'll be people that have comments, some people that don't understand the constitutional activism at all. They're going to want to know why he would use this type of language and assert his rights that way. Then the constitutional activists that are in the know, man, these folks, you know, they'll be here to reiterate points and help us sharpen finer points. So I'm ready to go, man. You ready?
Let's roll.
All right. I'm going to grab... TalkShoe is one of the programs that we use for conference calls, and so we're gonna use TalkShoe tonight. And what I'll do is I'll get everybody, I'll get the number out to everybody. We'll have everybody posted everywhere, and then if you want to join in, feel free, give us a call, and we'll get her done. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get us started on TalkShoe. So while I do that, and I get a number and a code for everybody to put in, Shayne, why don't you walk us through, if you would, the basics of, or first, actually, everybody's really interested what we didn't see in the video that night. What everybody asks is, you know, why did he pull you over? What started all of this? So if you could start there, and I'll look up this number. Absolutely.
Where it started from is I dropped my girlfriend off at the bank. I went around the block as to pick her up so she wouldn't have to walk further in the cold. As I stopped at the stop sign, I was, of course, making sure that I didn't affect other people's travels in a negative way. So it was a normal happening. And then I pulled to the right as to go in the bank and leaned more on the shoulder, which was a car length wide of a shoulder. So it was no harm, no foul. It was no big deal. It wasn't even something to speak to. It's just this cop felt a desire to pick on me, if you will. So as I left the bank going to the store across the way, this cop was parked over here, such as a shark would, just waiting to see where I go, what I do. So I ended up going back to here where we're at, Jay's house, And as I pulled in, the lights went off. He put his sirens on. And I pulled into the spot, turned the keys off as to not have the keys in the ignition, turned the car off, and got out of the car with my phone. At this point, he said, "Show me your ID, you're under arrest," something to that effect. And this is exactly when I started to tape, because cameras up is a common thing that people who come in contact with law enforcement, if not law enforcement, with corporate policy enforcers, to be specific, know to do. So it's something to protect yourself. Anytime there's ever a cop doing anything to anybody, even if it seems peaceful, we have a duty to go up and make sure that these cops know that they're being filmed, even if things are amicable and peaceful. It's just a good habit to have, like picking up trash mob.
Yeah.
So I taped the gentleman, and that's when you can see on this video where it all started. And he was already not liking me from the very beginning. When he took a look at me through his car, I could see his intent to find out what I was and who I was, what I was doing out driving, whatever. Just a shark mentality, if you will.
So you were down the road, and he saw you pull into the berm. He was down the road from you. He sees you pull into the berm by the bank, and then you go get Nikki. He's still watching. You go over to the gas station. The cop is still watching.
Yes,
you
yeah,
guys,
5 minutes passed in between all this.
Okay, yeah, so you guys actually went into the gas station, got something to drink, got a pack of smokes, came back out, and then start heading down the road, and he gets behind you.
Exactly, and I was anticipating this because I could sense his energy. You know, it's just easy to see if you're paying attention to what's going on around you, and you know how these guys operate. So it was to be expected. That's why I pulled into this area as opposed to going around the block to Nikki's house. And it was the better choice, because if he would have gotten me in travel, then he might have gotten the car, towed the car, then an impound fee. So I want to make sure that I had the keys out of the ignition first thing, and we got that taken care of. Then he claims to have the right to tell me what to do, and it's simply not that simple.
Now, by the time he turned on the overhead lights, you were already in the parking lot, getting out of the car, right?
Yeah, he turned the lights on. I was already parked. Then I still had about, say, 20 feet or 15 feet of parking space to get into. But I pulled in, turned the car off, pulled the keys out of the ignition, got out of the car, and started filming.
Okay, and a second ago you made the delineation between a law enforcement officer and a code enforcement officer. And this has to do with the speech. I'm glad you made that delineation, because that has to do with the speech of constitutional activism.
Absolutely does.
That a lot of people they're not privy to, they don't understand. We've already had one show where I had you and Chris Meese on.
Yes.
And said, okay, you guys are constitutional activists or sovereigns or, whatever people want to call you, and you're listed as a domestic terrorist, and you're actually, that group is pretty illustriously high on that list.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So what I did was I said, okay, how many buildings have you bombed?
None.
How many bombs have you made?
None.
And how many people have you terrorized?
None.
So there we go. We were told that sovereigns are a bunch of nut jobs and constitutional activists are a bunch of crazy people, and you've not blown up any buildings, you've not made bombs, you've not terrorized people, and we've kind of established that.
Well, real quick.
Go ahead.
If we were, myself, other friends of mine who are involved in using the courts to effect remedy, if we were what they claimed us to be, they've transgressed upon myself and my friend Lotus for the past 3 years here in Central Ohio, Franklin County, Columbus Police Force, and all these folks. She's in prison right now. I have been jailed and beaten. If anyone has claims against these guys, it's us. And if we were what they claimed us to be, we would have already done something ridiculous. And we don't do that. We're about peace. We're pacifist. I'm a pacifist, though I don't allow people to walk all over me. I'm going to give an individual or a group of individuals every chance I can to do the right thing. And that's just grace and showing your brother and sister grace.
Absolutely. Consistently, what I've heard you speak about is peace and the law and ways for people to empower and educate themselves. if you're a domestic terrorist, I think it's important that people know you used to be called a motivational speaker.
Right, and still am by those who know me and really connect with me, because I love to connect to other humans, other living things. It's a wonderful life when your perspective is finely honed and tuned. And in this life of educating oneself on just about every aspect of life, whether it be physics or science or law or anthropology, it's fun and it's a quest. And the more you learn, the clearer things become, and you see things for what they are. That's hence my stance with with that guy, Mr. Alex Coles, Colles, the Pataskala Police Department. That's why I stood the way I did against him, or with him, whatever. Is because I knew that I had the standing, and standing in law is paramount to to get anything done. You have to have the standing. And
now, let me interrupt. I apologize, but what was for people who would watch the video and go, man, why was that guy reacting that way? And this leads into something here in a second, but for people who would look at that and say, man, why was that guy reacting like that? At the heart of it, it's because you knew you were in the right, you knew that you had standing, and that gave you the confidence to be able to stand.
Absolutely. And I've also had very many encounters with corporate policy enforcers, the state, deputy sheriffs, which are actually supposed to be constitutional sheriffs, but they're violating their constitutional oaths, though they are the only ones with any real authority when it comes to municipalities or state or federal authorities. So
okay, well, I don't want to get too far ahead,
right.
getting into what it all means. Now this is the video. I first showed the video, one of the videos that I shot. Now this is the video that you shot, and I want to start to pick this apart with you.
Let's do this.
Okay, now for everybody who wants to call in, we're going to go through the videos first. We're going to pick them apart, and then I'm going to give everybody the number, and we will have everybody start calling in. So, look at that. There's over 200 clicks on this one.
Wonderful.
All
People
right.
are interested.
Unlawful engagement, sir. I need to tell you.
Oh, you're not able to
I'm
hear it.
telling you, good sir.
Unlawful stop right
No,
now.
I'm a lawful individual. What you're doing is enforcing corporate policy, good sir, and I victimize nobody. So what you're doing is violating my constitutional rights. You're violating my constitutional rights. You can't make any sense over what.
Okay. This is exactly what we were talking about. This is the moment that you get out of the car, he turns on his lights, you guys start talking, and right there you were saying you're violating my constitutional rights.
Right. My constitutional right and God-given right to travel freely. We've had this right ever since men's walking around. You got to go to the river to get the water. You have a right to travel freely in order to do the day's business to stay alive.
And this is reiterated by the United States of America disallowing checkpoints. This is where we make fun of World War II, Nazi Germany, and say, papers, please.
Papers.
Because it restricts your travel. Here, this is America. We're free. We are allowed to freely travel.
Unencumbered and unaffected. So when you're operating in commerce, for those operating in commerce, you have a license. There's a license for that because it's using the roadways for travel, the public roadways.
Now, wait. Traveling in commerce, would that be like an 18-wheeler?
18-wheeler,
Okay.
A cab, a number of things. But we're not operating in commerce that we know of, because we've all been manipulated to believe that everything is hunky-dory, when really what's going on is that the corporate government who's operating in commerce has given us a straw man, all capital letters name, that is subject to the regulations of the corporate government, as opposed to the government being there to protect people's rights. It's there to take them away and use them and extort them and control them. And we know this has gone on over and over throughout empires, throughout monarchies. We know the nature of things, but it's not something we're going to be okay with. It's something we work against.
Yeah,
Revolution.
And you have, for anybody who's listening, if you're in America right now and you're hearing this, you can understand why somebody who's a constitutional activist, just with that, this is just the beginning of the show, but just with that little bit that he said right there, you can understand why he would be listed as an enemy to the assholes that every time they pass a law or a bill or a statute, they take away our rights.
Right.
Somebody who is speaking this way, I mean, first of all, this takes a lot of courage. You know, this takes a lot of courage. When you get pulled over, you know, and this is a K-9 unit.
It's a terrifying situation to be put in, and people are living in fear. These guys are terrorists. The entire government at all is terrorist organizations.
And terrorism is defined as
terrorizing people
by government.
Right.
So,
yes.
You know, but they like to turn everything around and flip it on its head, and that's exactly what they've done by calling you a terrorist.
Yeah, I know.
And so here, I just wanted to clear, you were saying that this officer is violating your constitutional rights, and that's what it was. It was your right to travel freely. So.
Absolutely.
I'm saying, which is I have a right by God to travel freely. You are violating my rights by stopping me, by flashing those lights. What you're doing, good sir, is saying that there's been good sir, you're saying there's been an emergency. But
All right, I'm being told that people are unable to hear us?
They can hear, but it keeps on chopping up. Their internet's not good. They would rather have a talk show so they could actually call in and listen.
Okay, all right, let's get the talk show going then.
Start from scratch.
I appreciate it. Okay, our talk shoe number, and you guys will be able to hear me do this. 724-444-7444. That's 724-444-7444.
Followed by the pound key.
Caller ID is 13957.
Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time.
Excellent.
13957. Welcome to Talk
Oh, okay,
Shoe.
no, it's not
Please enter the
13957.
call
I'm an
ID,
idiot.
Followed by the pound key.
13957.
Enter your PIN followed by the pound key. If you are not a TalkShoe member, press 1, then pound. To get access to all features, sign up for a free account at TalkShoe.com. You are now joining the call.
All right, so 724-444-7444. And then the call ID to get into the chat is 139547. So let's do that again. 724-444-7444. And our PIN to get into our chat is 139547. So, tell you what I'll do. You ready for the camera?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm gonna turn the camera on so you can see me and Shane here.
Shane and I.
Shane and I. Thanks, man.
I think that is wrong. Shane and I's wrong, I believe. Yeah, like to think about it. The grammar police are out there they're killing them. Like,
right.
no.
Yeah, I would pull the camera up if I only knew how.
And to Miss Whitney,
To Miss Whitney.
I posted it in response to her, so she has it there.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Liz Whitney.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody who's listening tonight. We have all the software and hardware we need to do this, and people want me to do it more often, but there we go.
Peace and love. Where's it at? Peace and love. Hell yeah.
Bam!
That's my dog.
My dog. All right, I'm gonna leave the phone here. Talk shoe. All right, so as we go through the video, and we'll just have it running in the background here because we're gonna keep the camera on us.
flashing those lights, you are violating the law. There's been no emergency whatsoever. I'm here to know she's fine and good. Good sir. Just because you have the gun and the badge doesn't mean you're right. I know exactly what I'm saying. I know exactly these cops very well. We are activists. We know how to defend our rights very well, good sir. You are in bad form. No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not, good sir. You're going to violate my constitutional rights. I'll have you in court and it's no big deal. I do this all the time. That's what I do. You cannot talk over me. You make no sense. You have no authority whatsoever. And as a corporate policy enforcer, good sir. So you understand, I control the situation here. Yes, sir, I do. as I walk away.
You're not going to walk
Unlawfully walk. No, do not.
walk
Do
up.
not. I have no clothes.
I want to stop it right there. If you don't have sovereign knowledge, and whoever joined us on TalkShoe, if you could mute, and we'll have you chime in here in a second. Appreciate you joining us. And that's only if you want to. You don't have to. If you're here just to listen, that's fine. At that point, when the cop was approaching you, you don't have to know law, and you don't have to understand every amendment in the Constitution.
Right.
If there's somebody standing there, and then they turn their back to you, they're obviously not a threat. And you told him, like, look, I'm walking away. I'm leaving.
Right.
You know? You go to turn and walk away. You see that he's coming towards you. You turn back to face him,
right,
to try to get him to stop.
Right.
You didn't brandish a weapon. You never once provocated violence.
Right.
You kept saying, good sir.
Right.
You know, you were showing the guy respect.
Trying to.
You know? Most people can see that. And see that even, let's say, there was I know that there wasn't an infraction, a traffic infraction, I get that. But let's say that there was,
right,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is, I guess, what I want everybody to ask themselves. Let's say he ran a stop sign, didn't use his turn signal, whatever it was, went onto the berm and he wasn't supposed to or whatever. Does that constitute this cop jumping on him, especially when he turned around and he showed he was being civil? Does it constitute this cop assaulting him like that? That's the question. As far as the Ohio Revised Code, because people like to argue the law, they like to say, oh, well, as the Ohio Revised Code is written, the officer isn't in the wrong. Well, if you have a moral freaking bone in your brain, if you have any goddamn sense, if you give a shit about any other living human being,
right, then
you understand people shouldn't be treated that way. If someone is just verbally, no more than verbally exercising their rights, they don't deserve to be tackled. If they're churning away and they turn back in the conversation, in the span of the conversation, obviously they're not trying to harm you. They're not trying, I mean, am I wrong? Were you trying to harm the guy?
Absolutely not. The thing is, his pride was hurting, and it's obvious this guy has an issue.
Yeah.
He won't speak to it. And who knows what kind of chemicals are pumping through his body. Something's wrong. Something's real wrong with this guy. And that's why I was stern yet patient, because I know that they're thick-headed.
Yeah.
And I knew I was in the right, and I'm not going to be arrogant, but I'm going to speak to the law and stick to it and stand firm in the common law and who I am as a man, who I am as a human, who I am as a living entity.
Do you think that there are people that... I personally don't think anyone can watch this video and say that you deserved to be wrestled to the ground,
right,
and all of that. I mean, I don't. And listen, before people start getting into the Ohio Revised Code, there are things in the Ohio Revised Code that cops have told me and have told him, not something that we heard from somebody else. This is in conversation with police. They've told us there are things we don't want to enforce. There's things in the Ohio Revised Code that we don't agree with. It's our job to enforce the Ohio Revised Code. So this really isn't about the Ohio Revised Code, though. This is about what's right and what's wrong, what's moral, what makes sense, and who in the hell believes that he deserved to get abused like that, that he was, he was assaulted. Obviously, I mean, the guy is wrapped up in a blanket. He's obviously not going to try to pick fights with cops whose freaking arm muscles are this goddamn big. You know, I mean...
And some may even argue as to my level of belligerence. And that was my personal decision. I was clear-headed through the entire thing.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, you were speaking... You were on point through the whole thing. I mean, belligerence defined as loud in volume. Yeah, I can see that.
Right.
You had to assert your rights.
Yeah.
And that's something that would make the founding fathers proud. Somebody who's finally standing up and saying, no, you're not, this isn't Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
You don't get to just dictate my life. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of folks like that. We don't have a lot of folks like you running around saying, look, you're not going to sit here and act like my daddy.
Exactly. If I'm my own daddy, I don't need one. And hence self-government, autonomy, self-governance within your own human body, self-governance as a community, as a state, as a human race.
everything. I mean, self-governance, self-discernment. This is what we're striving towards. This is what you've been striving towards.
Yeah,
and you know, our network and everything that we're trying to do is to get people to realize the power's in your hands, the control's in your hands. It's all due to your own self-governance, self-discernment.
Yeah. Pick up your trash.
You know,
you got this.
Make it easy. You
Let's
know?
pick up the trash, brother.
You know, well, and this guy,
yeah,
he didn't care that by the time he approached you, you guys were face to face.
Yeah,
you know, and then he still does his thing and wrestles you to the ground. To which, when you're down there, now we have it where he's wrestling you to the ground right now in the video, and here, let's play it. The video's kind of heartbreaking at this point.
Sure.
You're violating my rights. You're violating my rights. You're on tape for violating my rights. I do not consent.
You're screaming over and over, you're violating my rights. You're violating my rights.
He's not resisting. He's not resisting.
Okay, now you hear me saying he's not resisting. And here's the thing. You can see in the video, even though it's dark, you can see in the video I shot that Shayne's arms are like this.
Well, actually, for most of the time, they were like that, out in front of me, as far as can be extended.
But when the cop got down and everything, you were like this, and he was saying stop resisting, and your arms never moved.
Well, it's obvious that's a tactic of theirs, and they're simple.
Dude.
And we understand that. So stop resisting. How about this? Stop assaulting.
Yeah, and this is something they always do this. They always do this.
Yeah.
The stop resisting, and then when he saw the other cop showed up, that's when he really started to yell.
Oh yeah, their egos grow exponentially when their boys are on the scene.
Yeah, when the first cop that pulled up, when he showed up, that's the first time you hear this officer really go, "Stop resisting!"
Right.
And everybody, by that time we had all of the neighbors outside on the front porches, and that's when you start to hear everybody's voices say he's not resisting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many freaking witnesses we had out there, dude, but all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
By the way, with these witnesses, we got their handwritten statement of facts called an affidavit, and this something else to bring to court. They actually expected me to be at court tomorrow, one full business day after this happened, which is absurd because, you know.
Oh, and they still haven't given you a ticket.
Still haven't given me a ticket.
They still haven't given him a ticket? Nothing. And they say that he has to be at court tomorrow, but hell, he doesn't even have paperwork.
Well, they gave me something when I was leaving jail because I don't sign things when I go. There's a lot behind that. It gives them access to a lot of money that's in a trust. But when you go, if you sign anything, the only reason I signed is to get out on Sunday as to help give perspective so I could be out and also write for a continuance because you can't do it from court or from jail. They won't let you do it, which is a denial of due process. So, excuse me.
You get out on the OR bond.
Right,
and
get on the OR bond, and they give me something related to a ticket, but it wasn't my ticket because they put on it on the case number TBS, probably meaning to be served, something like that. Nothing official has happened. I called the chief of police today, stating that
deputy chief,
stating my issues, making perfect sense, talking within the confines of the law, speaking to the law, the philosophy of law. He has no clue, unfortunately. And maybe that's not where he feels he has a duty to learn anything. Maybe that's for the courts. Sure, fine and good. But if you're going to consider yourself a law enforcement officer, you might want to know what the definition of law is, one, and also what the law is, two.
Yeah.
And we're going to educate the guy, whether he wants to work with us or not. But we have the power in the people. We have the power with the standing of being right. That's as simple as that. And we're going to affect positive change in this community and every other community we come across.
Yeah, man.
In our adventures, good brother.
We've been doing it.
We have been.
The guys that have been working with us in the network, whether it's on the south side of Columbus with the ABF family, or it's Valerie Petrichor with Cop Block, or Heather Lucas and Mike Kay with Awakened Media, or you know, we've been to many neighborhoods. We've rallied in different places downtown. You know, oh, by the way, real quick, for anybody who's listening and is familiar with the Julie Elise flag situation in Whitehall, Julie Elise will be at the State House tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to speak in front of the Ohio Senate on that flag bill that we started and the politicians took over and said was their idea. So they're going to, that's fine, whatever. They're going to try to pass a law that says it's a bad idea. I'm not for it, but I support Julia Lease as a person. So
Right on.
anytime they say, why would we have to pass a law in America that says you can fly the American flag? What in the hell?
That's a right, not a privilege.
Wait, think about it, dude.
They're gonna start charging fees for it now. Watch.
Yeah. All right. So who do we have on Talk Shoe, guys? Anybody on there willing to chat with us? If we have just listeners, that's fine. All right, cool. If we get anybody on Talk Shoe that wants to holler, once you get on there, just hit 1 so that we know that you're there, and we'll get to you. So yeah, oh, hello?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, we can hear you.
Hey, I can hear you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Who's this?
I'm known as the Enforcer.
All right. What up, Enforcer?
What up, bro?
Josh, Amy Wicks.
Hey, Josh and Amy Wicks.
We'll get to you. Josh and Amy, how y'all doing tonight?
What's up, good friend? This is a reunion.
Yeah, man. It's good to talk to you guys.
Good to talk to you too, good friend.
Right on, man. We appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys have any questions or anything you want to reiterate through this, just let us know and hit a button or something, and we'll get you on.
Okay, that's what's up.
All right, excellent. How are we doing, by the way?
Next.
How are we doing tonight?
Doing fine.
All right, excellent.
That's right.
All right, yeah. So appreciate you guys being here, man. As far as where we are here in the video, I believe he's tackling the shit out of you, and you're saying you're violating my rights over and over and over. So
by the way, this takes a lot of This is an ab exercise right here, and a throat exercise, without a doubt.
How are we doing tonight? Everybody's doing great. All right.
Doing excellent.
Good stuff.
What's up,
hey,
Tiny?
we can hear echo on there too, guys. If you guys can mute yourselves when you're not talking, we'd appreciate it.
Good call.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that echo. That'll drive us crazy.
Right.
So yeah, he's tackling the shit out of you and raping the crap out of your rights right here. So
Yeah.
Let's
Ridiculous.
let's put this like that there. All right.
Dude, this is so interactive.
Put your hand behind your back. I'm not arrested. Quit. I am not. Quit violating my rights. Sir,
You hear everybody chiming in right there. You hear everybody yelling.
That's a lot going on. This is where he probably got real scared. My dude Jay coming through strong. Yes, teammate.
I feel guilty I didn't get my ass kicked that night.
do not touch me. You have no right to put your hand back. Get back. No. Get out of my face. Get back. Touch me again. Don't do it.
Sir, you're hurting him.
Stop.
Sir, he's got health issues. You need to stop.
He's had. Listen. Stop.
It's I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But what I wanted to say is, it's like in the wild, if you show fear, then they're gonna pounce definitely. So you got to do it's like this. When it comes to physics, if you will, there's a say this is me, and this is him. If he comes to me, sorry, I gotta get this right. This is me, and this is him. This is me. So yeah, this is me.
Yeah, that's you.
He comes to me.
That's you.
He comes to me. Usually people go with it and allow them to take over. So what we do is we stop them, and then push them back. You know.
Well, and I think in this case,
Sometimes they tackle you. You can't stop them from violating the law, but you can make them be held to the law.
Oh, and I think that's exactly what we have. That's why we have people listening, and there's interest in this. It wasn't. It was very much the way that you handled it, in the way that everything went down. But of course, it's going to draw interest. But this is kind of unique to see somebody assert their rights like that.
Right.
You know, and when he heard you were saying, this is probably when he got nervous or scared. When he heard all these people out here yelling at him, I mean, listen. it's kind of hard to watch and listen to the video, to be honest. I don't know if that was hard for you guys to sit there and see that and listen to it, but it is. It's hard to watch because everybody knew that he was being violated. His rights were being violated. He was being assaulted, and then this cop is doing this, you know, this typical shit that we've seen from Los Angeles to Boston to everywhere. Stop resisting.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He wasn't resisting. There was nothing to resist. He was like this.
Yeah.
And everybody could see it. That was the thing. You're right. He probably was nervous because everyone could see that he was assaulting the shit out of you. And, I mean, your freaking legs bleeding here. Your ankle foot area's bleeding here.
They're worried about a lawsuit is what they're worried about.
They should be. All right, listen. For anybody out there that has this on if it's on the Facebook thread, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Activist Liaison Network, and there's no fucking way we can monitor all that shit right now, chime in and we'll get to your response. Chime in. Tell us what you think. Tell us. I mean, just look, dude, you know, whatever you believe. You know, do you believe that when Shayne was like, nah, dude, you don't have the power and authority here. I do, and I'm going to show you by walking the fuck away. He goes to walk away, and sees the cop coming after him, so he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, and, you know, if you believe that, you know, somebody deserves an ass whooping for that, you need to check yourself into a place, man.
Well, check yourself in, but we'd also love to hear from you because we don't detest the opposition. We invite it as to not only realize where we're at and who we are and our beliefs because of the opposition helps us do that, but also for us to inspire other people who may not be as centered as we are.
Yeah, good point. We want you to call in if you know, you believe Shayne was in the wrong. We'd love to hear why. We'd love to hear the opposition to, I don't know, 20 people on their front porches saying he's not resisting. He was obviously not resisting. If the guy was fighting the cops, you wouldn't have heard what you heard.
Right.
I mean, that's obvious. That's an obvious thing.
Playing devil's advocate, let's see here.
I mean, go ahead.
Well, yeah, so let's imagine in a scenario that I did have a weapon or something.
Okay.
He didn't know that. He has to assume the worst because these streets are bad. Well, not these streets, but streets in America.
Not here.
Right, streets in America are bad. And so from his perspective, he had to make sure that people were protected and that I wasn't some nutcase. He doesn't know me. That's fair.
Okay.
But he has to be trained and has to have the wherewithal, the mental, emotional wherewithal to handle situations. Hence why we put this responsibility into these folks' hands.
That's why you don't want me to have a gun and be responsible for protecting motherfuckers in public, dude.
Oh, God.
I'm telling you. You don't want me to be a cop. I swear to God, we're screwed if I'm a cop, dude.
Well, we the people are the law.
Right,
Damn it.
Yeah, we're the law, but, you know, if I'm the dude that's in charge of writing us tickets, we're going to save paper.
We're going to save paper. Yes, all like that. Yeah, right.
I ain't doing it.
Hell no revenue.
Yeah, revenue enforcement officers, man. And we're trying to bridge this gap in the middle of this. We've had events with this police force. We're trying to establish something with them. And then this happens. And, you know, you want to talk about a challenge? We meet with him tomorrow, right? Deputy Chief and the Chief?
I don't know if I'll be able to or not.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to or not.
All right, well, nonetheless. Yeah, shit, let's go through the video here.
Yeah, let's go through this video.
Waka waka.
Mm-hmm. Dolby Lots Revelation, sir. You're getting pretty good at that. Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome.
My dog Jay's the man, by the way. Oh, Chris is like the.
Gentlemen, I ain't under shit. Dude, you ever heard of commercial lean? Your bond, it's all bad. You fucked up. You might want to retract at this very point, good sir. You fucked up. We're gonna stand you up. No, don't be my best friend. I got this shit. Y'all ain't men. You're fucking bitches.
Ready?
That's the reality.
Do you have any clothes on underneath?
No.
Besides your shirt?
No.
Alright, why don't we... Here. I'll grab it.
Bobby, run inside our upstairs closet and break it up there.
Hold on.
You don't realize what you just did. Your smart move and told your son.
We have a right to self-preservation.
It's not
Boom.
muted now, yeah.
We have a right to self-preservation. Boom.
Can his girlfriend help?
Law of nature.
You know they had a total of 6 fucking cars here?
That's on a slow day for me in Columbus. In Columbus, if I'm doing the right thing, as I always do, and they don't like it, they'll come 10, 12 deep, try to taser me. By the way, folks listening, I got tased at a church by a cop twice within 20 seconds for doing nothing wrong.
That's fucking
Boom.
hilarious.
There's more of that story. Stay tuned.
At this point in the video is when they...
Jeremy.
Oh, hey, who do we got?
Hey, it's Josh. Hey, Amy Wicks wants to...
Hey, Amy, you want to chime in?
Yeah, Amy Wicks wants to chime in.
Yeah, Amy, what's up?
Bring it on.
All right, Amy.
I'm simply saying, if you guys could entertain the idea and bear with me, that not everybody that's watching, what's going on is as smart as Shayne and you.
Well,
as
educated, it's a learning curve and it takes time, but it's doable.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, they said they can hear me.
Go.
Anyways, so, for someone like me who trains kids in gang intervention and what we train them is, you guys, these cops have license to kill. But, wait until you get in the courtroom because they will shoot you. Do not talk back. I know that's not how it should be, and I know that's not right, everybody, but that's how it is. And I don't want these kids to get killed. I don't want Shayne to get killed. I don't want Jeremy to get killed.
Absolutely.
You guys are adults that clearly know, the law and what you're doing and how to talk to these police. But I don't want kids that don't know how to do that to do these videos and follow.
Yeah, real quick, I want to make a point to that. When learning the law and exercising the law, there is a learning curve.
Yeah.
And there's a saying that you know just enough information to get yourself in trouble. So you always want to keep it super simple and use the most basic words and speak from your heart with your mind. And that will serve you the best you can do. And everyone with a conscious brain who is not an infant or insane can do this. And it's doable for anybody who's got to get the courage. The courage is what's going to stop them, not the specific words of constitutional activists. It's about being about something and sticking up for your rights as a human, to walk through the earth unaffected. If you're victimizing nobody, then leave me alone.
Yeah, that was well said.
Taxes.
Yeah, and I agree, Amy. I agree. I don't want kids or even adults, anybody who doesn't have the education to watch this and say, oh, hell, I can do that, da-da-da. What I would prefer is for people to first learn where they have standing. They have to educate themselves first, because if you go running off at the mouth to a cop and you don't know what you're talking about, it's exactly what Shayne said. You know enough to get yourself in trouble. And... What's that?
No, you're right. That's like, don't try this at home. Like, if you're a musician, don't some kid try it at home.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen. What we do want is for people to know and understand the capacity in which cops are supposed to be functioning in our society. We also want people to realize their strength and understand that they do have the authority. And it makes sense from a country that has founding fathers that were all about fighting tyrants. It makes sense that they would put things in place where we can preserve our liberties, our freedoms, our rights, and be able to maintain those things. This is why they wrote Pursuit of Happiness, Life, Liberty.
I'd like to make a point real quick about the Constitution, if we could.
Yeah.
A point about the Constitution. Go ahead.
Violated.
Rights have been violated. Bottom line, rights have been violated, and we have human rights. I mean, it's simple. Before ever any written law was ever made, and people understood not to kick one another. It's all basic common sense. So when keeping it simple with these kids, absolutely, and the kids can always ask a question with the question, am I under arrest? Have I victimized somebody? And it can be said in the most peaceful ways, and it doesn't even have to happen like that. If they're threatened for their life, and they're in, say, the hood, and these cops are gun-ho, just tell them Tell them to use their best judgment and understand that these cops are maniacs, but they have the standing. They have the standing.
And you have the right, under the First Amendment for freedom of speech, which gives you the right to react in whichever way you choose.
Well, as long as you are not denying someone of their rights.
In a hostile manner, you have the right, just as you choose, to act in a manner of calmness. Either way, the bottom line is your rights are being violated.
Bottom line. And it'd be different if I was to instigate the situation, like saying, come on, do something. It wasn't the case at all. I was being loud, but I was being very thorough in what I was saying.
And let me be clear as well. Listen, do we have police that are absolute maniacs? Absolutely we do. Is that the larger problem? Well, no. The larger problem would be us not knowing our rights and not knowing how to assert them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think we got maniac cops?
Yeah. Assert them as a whole, as a community.
I mean, if there's something you want to put together with these kids, Amy, I think, Shayne...
I would love to. I love working with kids. They're wonderful, and I'm a big kid myself. That's why I get along with this guy. Hey, Callie Love.
Well, I mean, Jeremy, you're reading my mind. I'm already working with the head that from the same schools, trying to get my book in there, and we could do a book study, and it's fine what you guys are talking about to teach these kids the right. I'm not teaching these kids hands up, don't shoot, what they're teaching them now. I hate that language.
We're getting off subject.
Well, I'm just saying. No, we're not.
Hey, Amy.
After teaching the kids.
Hey, Amy. Will you plug your book for us? Tell us the name of your book a couple times.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Jimmy. It is From Privilege to Prison. And that is the rush cut was called Miss F, the Twizzler, and the Kangaroo. I only let out 100 of those. And that was the rush cut. My nickname in prison was the Kangaroo. You'll have to read why.
Okay, so it's From Privilege to Prison. Is that correct?
From Privilege to Prison. From Privilege to Prison.
From Privilege to Prison. You guys get a chance to check out that book, man. Amy wrote that. She's in our network. She's kick-ass people. She actually does my favorite form of activism and helps people try to get back into society that have been incarcerated. And does a lot more than that. I mean, that just kind of scratches the surface. But check out From Privilege to Prison. Check out that book if you get the chance and support her and help her out, man. I appreciate you guys calling in, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. And we'll sort it out this session.
This was Whitney. Hi, y'all. I have a question if you have time.
Please do.
I wanted to know two things. First of all, Shayne, why do you think the cop stopped you in the first place? Was it profiling, or what was his thinking along, the lines of choosing you to stop you? That's number one. And number two is, I'm wondering, in some cases, is it better to sort of exhibit your right to be silent? Like, if they start harassing you, can you just say, I'm exercising my right to be silent, and then not answer any questions and not say a word without an attorney?
Those are good questions.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I would like to answer the second one first, which is, of course, you have the right to be silent. And
But when do you think is there a time to exercise that? Is it better for someone who, especially who's a constitutional activist? I believe that's what you're asking, right, Miss Whitney?
I love that, Miss Whitney, by the way.
Miss Whitney.
Oh, sorry.
It fits.
No, that's fine. It's just me. But, no, I just think that, like, for instance, I'm trying to imagine myself, or, just put myself in your place, Shayne, and if some cop just begins harassing or stopping you for no reason, for me, I would probably exercise my right to be silent, not to provoke him, because the cops seem to have anger issues.
Yes.
And, to avoid getting beat up or maybe even arrested. I really don't know. I mean, if I would say I am choosing my right to be silent, and they get aggravated because I'm not telling them anything, would they still arrest me?
They can do whatever they want. That's why it's so crucial we fight this fight. And I know that. I've experienced it much. I'm kind of a different sort of case, if you will, not the average individual, because of my desires to fight for what's right, and also my vigor and passion for life, which comes out in a number of ways, in a silent way sometimes, or in a loud way, depending on how I feel at the moment, whatever my rationale and my clarity, not just pertaining to how I deal with the authority figures. So in relation to why I act, is there a way to know when you should be silent or not be? It's all upon the individual, and it's all upon the circumstance. No two circumstances are the same. So you have to take that in consideration. And I would like to plug a new word, fungulate. It mixed between fluctuate and undulate. So always be changing and never too stable on what you want, and also undulate, do it in a cool motion. So always go with the flow, so to speak. And in this case, the reason why I acted the way I did is because I sensed his energy. I noticed his look in his face when he was looking at me. I noticed he was sitting there like a shark for 5 minutes. I noticed that he pulled in behind and he was having ill intent. Now, it was my choice to act the way I did. And I don't take back a single thing, not a single thing about it, not one. Because I knew he was going to come with aggression, as he did. And I didn't want to be sitting in a car, very vulnerable, one. And I didn't want to have him have justification to tow the car, two. And also, I wanted to get out and combat him standing toe-to-toe, not toe-to-toe, but both standing up. And I knew that if I was far enough back away, with my hands being clear, that it would create enough of a barrier to where I could say what I wanted to say, which it was effective and it worked. But when I walked away is when he got super empowered to do something, which was completely unconstitutional. As simple as that. Violated my constitutional rights by tackling me. And he's operating under the color of law. Title 18 U.S. Code, under the color of law. You cannot operate as an authoritative figure without the actual jurisdiction and the actual authority. That's impersonating an officer. He may not know that, but I know that. And I'm going to give him some grace because he's not been as educated, or obviously doesn't have the soul that I have. So we got to give our brothers patience. We got to pet him like a damn pet, and guide them through. So is there any black and white answer to that? No. Use your best judgment. But the better you get at this, the more you exercise your rights, the more comfort you'll find in it, and whatever comfort level that is for you. It so happens that on this situation, this day, my comfort level was combating him in the form that I did. And as far as your first question, was he profiling me? I believe very much so. By the breaking that I did to get into the bank, it wasn't violent or anything, but it was intentful. I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I'm very aware of how I affect others. So it was nothing threatening whatsoever.
Let me cut in. The cop saw him hit the brakes and said that he was driving erratically. Well, if that was the case, he had the chance to stop him at the bank, at the gas station, while they were shopping. He could have gone in there and said, "Hey, partner, I noticed, you were driving a little erratic. Is everything okay?" Like somebody who's a peace officer would do,
Right. Right. And then when we pulled out of the gas station, I noticed he was still there. And at this point, I was expecting him to pull us over, which he did. So I could sense his energy once again. So he was coming with negative intent, with forethought and malice. Now, if he thought that I was up to no good, he could have handled the situation a lot different. That's for sure. But it was apparent that I wasn't. I was driving calm. I was operating myself. I was operating as a gentleman, speaking to the law, and that usually gets these people a little off kilt.
Yeah, it'll knock them off kilter.
So you said, Shayne, that you've been called or labeled a domestic terrorist.
Right.
And so I'm guessing they have you in your system. You think they ran your place and they just realized, oh, this is Shayne, and we better just follow him around and see what he's up to?
That's happened more in Columbus, Ohio, when I spend a lot of time with homeless individuals, disenfranchised, if you will, really, really nitty-gritty people who are wonderful, wonderful people. And I was labeled by these folks to be asocial degenerate. And they kept harassing me, and over time they stopped doing it because I've been fighting in the courts for so long and continually being a good individual in this world. They stopped. But here they don't know me. They don't know me like that. And I don't think that was the case here.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying.
Thank you for your questions.
I appreciate you guys taking my questions. Thank you.
Most definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much. Those are really good questions, and that was a beastly answer,
My
dude.
dude.
That was really good.
Brother.
That was really good. Anybody else got any questions?
No, but I was just going to say, as far as what Shayne just said, when the officer saw him at the back at the store and at the gas station, if he thought that he was at a safety risk, it's his job to secure the safety of the community.
Right.
There it is.
To pull him over then, not when he got out of the car after he parked the car in front of the apartment building.
Right.
It's very logical. They don't operate in logic.
Yeah, I think, and that's kind of what's sad, is everybody can see this for what it is, and unfortunately for what it's not. And this is what we're faced with all over the nation. We see the videos, we hear the stories, we're familiar with the newsreels that talk about, oh, good Lord, Mike Brown, Sam DeBow, Levi Damon, all these different people that have been killed by police. Everybody was interested when I was pulled over by Pataskala You know, we've been trying to do something different. You know, while we assert our rights, we also try to do community events with the police, you know, to show that we actually care about this country and its people, and we're not trying to destroy things. We're not trying to break everything down and you know, cause a bunch of... Yeah, we're trying to build it up, and
That's right.
And we're viewed as something different. I don't think it's any surprise that if I say these words, you can associate them to negative things. Militia, sovereigns, anonymous, all these different groups, and they've all been bastardized. Well, guess what? The militia is the last line of civilian defense in this country. Sovereigns, they actually know constitutional law. Anonymous, they're not just irresponsible hackers hacking into people's bank accounts. They actually share information that the entire world has been privy to now, and it's made things better concerning intelligence gathering, security, things like this. So all of these groups that have been bastardized, Shayne being labeled a domestic freaking terrorist, these things are very much done on purpose to harm us and keep us divided against one another. And that's it. It's just that simple. And it's a shame. It's a shame that we're fighting it.
It is. We can do. And nothing good in life comes easy, and you know, you got to be a little nuts to take on this endeavor. Nuts in a good way, crazy on the side of good, and that's why I think everyone in the world who sacrifices themselves for something better can really relate on a core level.
Agree. I mean, just my little 2 cents from my perspective, and you know, I'm certainly wanting, and I do have a very strong desire to educate myself on, you know, what it is that you guys stand for. And I'm, you know, didn't really know much about the group, just met you guys first and love you to pieces.
Love you too.
My first impression, of course, I mean, I could see that, you know, you're spreading love and peace and you know, unity everywhere you go. So I didn't even know that, you know, that there were bad things associated with the names of your group.
Right.
You know, and I just feel like, you know, not every cop's a bad cop. We know that there are good people and there are bad people regardless of what your profession is. We know that a lot of powers abuse their powers, and that's where, you know, I definitely want to participate and stand up for justice. But I also respect authority when authority respects me as a civilian.
It's exactly. It's a contract. It's a contract.
And it still goes both ways. It's not just like all out against all police are bad and this and that. That doesn't make sense, right? But we know that, I mean, we see it every day. And I'm a white lady in my middle years, so I don't get harassed as much as younger people do and people of color do. But I have a lot of friends that are people of color and young people that do get harassed. And I've seen it in my face, up close and personal, for many, many, many times. So I do appreciate you guys and your cause, and I want to thank you personally for just, you know, just being open and inviting so that me, for one, and other people can learn more about it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I'd like to add one thing to that, or something to that, which is ultimately you want to exude positivity in everything you do in the world for your entire life. Even when I was going through that, I was still being positive. I didn't hate him. I, of course, love him, pity, love him. But we have to exude positivity at everything we do. So if you're interacting with, say, an authoritative figure, whether it be the manager of McDonald's or a judge, we have a duty to come out of the situation more evolved, more enlightened. And I think no matter what happens in life, we can do that with the right perspective. So whether it be concentration camp, worst case scenario type deal, or if it's a beautiful utopia, we're going to still appreciate every second we're living, and we're going to connect with ourselves, other humans, everything in the universe, in the world, the universe, to live a fulfilling, stimulating life. And when you're on that level of spiritual evolution, you can't be touched as easy with their ridiculous physical reality control tactics.
It loosens the chains.
It loosens the chains. All they see is this physical reality. All they care about is control. We don't see the physical reality. We care not for control.
You know what? Let me cut in right here. I want you guys to think about what you're listening to, okay? Think about this when Shayne speaks, because he's labeled a domestic terrorist, and he's talking about spirituality and evolution and love. And he's a domestic terrorist. That's crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, he's labeled that, and he's talking about spiritual evolution, things like this. These are our domestic. You know what? If you're a domestic terrorist, I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it.
Right.
That's
Viva
fine
la
by me.
revolution. Hell no.
Yeah,
dude.
that's fine by me. I'll take it, because I would rather that than the actual terrorists that they're bringing over on refugee status.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
and even more so reason to really pick our game up sooner than later as members of the community is because we're needed. Righteous beasts are needed nationwide, statewide, worldwide to protect against evil intent, wherever it may come from.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You just got to hear the words of a domestic terrorist. I don't know how terrifying or, terroristic that sounded to everyone.
Right.
But when your government labels this man as a terrorist, and this is the way he speaks 24/7, there's something wrong.
I talk in my sleep.
There's just something wrong. There's something wrong. The dude's over here talking about, ways that we can love each other, ways that we can grow, ways that we can evolve, no matter what the experience is. And that's the dude who's supposed to be the bane of my existence? You got to be freaking kidding me.
Right. Yeah.
Right, but what do we say about perception, right? I mean, it's a wrong perception because they don't know him. And, anyone who gets profiled, they don't know that person. They just assume because the way he looks, the way he or she dresses or walks or whatever, that they are this person that they've imagined them to be. So how do we change the perception is the question.
Okay. Normal is boring. What's this? Good?
Somebody calling in. Oh. Go ahead.
So be you and own it, meaning don't be apologetic for being an emo. Don't be apologetic for being a geek or a rocker or whoever you are. If you aren't hurting anybody and you ain't doing nothing wrong and you got good intent, then be you and don't be afraid to be you and don't care who says what, even if it's a cop who's going to pull you over because of how you look. Say, sir, you're violating my rights and I don't appreciate it very much. I said, I don't look at you and think you're a bad guy. I would very much appreciate it if you treat me as a human. I love you, brother. I love you, brother.
Yeah, and my answer to that would be, when we have these events, and even an online event like this, this opens a door for us. This creates an opportunity for us to continue to fight these stigmas and these preconceived notions and these falsely built perspectives. We keep creating these opportunities for ourselves, and that's what we got to keep doing. We have to keep being a public face. We have to keep doing online stuff, whatever's in our capacity. We fight against those stigmas, and eventually, think about this. At one point in time, the Bloods and Crips were known as the bane of the existence of this country, and now you have Bloods and Crips coming together with a food truck, feeding a community, and doing peace walks. I mean, you know what I mean? So, everything's kind of getting turned on its head, and when it comes to perception, we can control a lot of that. We actually can. It's just that we've been taught that we don't have a lot of say or control in that. This is why we've formulated our own independent and alternative media. This is why we have our own online live streams. This is why we do the events, because, that's my answer as to how we fight those perceptions.
Right. Well, I saw you personally interact with the police officer that was kind enough to join us at Barrack Recreation Center for the dinner, and it was just beautiful because, you look around the room and all these different organizations, you got Crips, we got Bloods, and the police officer sitting down, talking to us, mingling with our children. Nice. And I just, I agree, we need more of that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, Dealing in Reality says that if every cop was a bad cop, we would all be dead or in chains. I mean, that's the case. If they had full carte blanche to just run around like a bunch of Nazis, we would not be living the way that we're living. So Dealing in Reality says there's good cops, there's bad cops. We see a lot of what we believe are bad cops, when in reality what we're seeing is bad law. The way the Ohio Revised Code for our state is written, it's written to a point where there are cops that don't even want to enforce it because they don't even like some of the ordinance. And everyone knows it's dumb. So we have to change the laws. We have to change the way the law works. We have to change.
Or even better, it doesn't take as much as that. It just takes getting away from all these regulations. Common law maxims, 100 and something. We got all these statutes and codes, millions upon millions upon millions.
Explain that a little bit. Explain that, because you brought up maxims, and a lot of people don't know what that is, especially concerning the law.
A maxim is an established principle, like let's say, no victim, no crime. There is several maxims of the common law, and these can be gotten online. You could probably just Google it, and there's like 160 or something. Now, when it comes to federal, state, city, municipality regulations, they number in the millions, and that's for a reason. Because if they took away all of these constraints and the construct was less constricting, people would feel more free and less desired to be so confrontational and angry. If our taxes weren't taken out to the degree that they are, if we should be charged any of the taxes that we are charged on the mass scale, if there wasn't miseducation in the schools, if there wasn't indoctrination on every piece of media outlet you ever see. So, we know it's something to fight, and if you want it bad enough, you'll fight against it, these things. But we keep doing what we do. We keep doing the independent media thing, writing stories, creating music and poems.
Yep.
Let's do beautiful. Let's bring the arts back into play. Science.
Well, I think we have a lot of ideas for the future too that I think will also affect perspective. If you see people that are former gang members and people in anonymous masks and all this hodgepodge of Americans, and we're taking part in something where there's comedy, music, art, things like that, that starts to also sway perspectives. And also, let me cut in real quick. Something I would like to see is, for people who are interested in this, that are interested in sovereignty. By the way, sovereign citizen is an oxymoron. It's like brother. Sharia law. If you say Sharia law, you're saying law.
Okay.
If you say sovereign citizen, you are
an oxymoron. A citizen is one who is subservient to the state. And if this was a lawful government, I would be proud to call myself a citizen. That's not the case. So a sovereign is one who is bound by the laws of nature with unalienable rights, is held to the organic constitution, and not some 14th Amendment citizen who is civilly dead, who only has civil rights or civil liberties, all these things. So
which is tantamount to privileges that are temporary until someone comes and takes it.
Now, again, ever since 1863, when the Lieber Code was instituted or began, the first General Orders number 100. It was the first executive order. This right here put the nation under martial law. And under martial law, it's a time of national emergency. So all property rights and all civil rights are suspended because of this time of national emergency.
Now, why would our government not tell us that?
We'll leave it for you folks to decide.
I mean, if we're at wartime and it's martial law, what does that entail?
It entails that we're under a state of military occupation, and that that's the rule. And there's a whole...
So no property rights.
No property rights, no civil rights. The only rights that we have are the ones that they let us have, as they let us meander about this country, and everyone feels they have rights, and they start stripping them away, and people say, how are they doing this? How do they have the ability? Because they're operating as a for-profit de facto government, and the folks don't know it. And definitions of words change over time, over generations. The schooling, they change what they do in the schools over time.
Yeah, but Latin stays the same.
Latin stays the same.
And Latin is what is spoke in the courts, and it's referred to as legalese. And that legalese language is, and I know this is going to sound extreme. I know it is, all right? But listen to this. If you're in court and the judge asks you, do you understand? They are not asking you, do you comprehend? They are asking you, do you recognize that you stand under me in authority? Meaning they are an authority figure over you. As soon as they say, do you understand? And you say, yes, I do. You're not saying, even though you believe, what you're saying, and what you are saying, as far as you're concerned, is I understand or I comprehend. What they're saying is, do you recognize that I stand over you in authority? And you say, yes.
Spiritual authority and physical realm authority. It's all related to manipulation of energies, manipulation of brains and humans. They wouldn't have the power that they have if there wasn't another human brain around.
Well, and if they're going to use legalese to screw us, which they do, this is why lawyers have to spend 12 years going to school, because you have to learn Latin and learn what...
how to hustle.
God, there's a term for no prosecui, which is nole prosecui, which is basically they're not going to prosecute.
There it is.
You know, but if you don't know Latin, you don't know what the hell they're talking about when you get that paper. You have to have a lawyer to say, oh, okay, they're telling you an attorney who is going to tell you, you know, they're basically saying they're not prosecuting you. Nole prosecui. And you know, so that's how they get over on us. They've run a big damn game. Now, if this sounds extreme, if it sounds like it doesn't make sense, I want you to consider this and just ask yourself this, everybody who's listening. In America, if you go to court, it's no secret. Whoever has the most money wins, right?
Usually.
Yeah. I mean, that's money rules our courts. So that's not justice. That's not being run by justice. That's being run by money.
There it is.
So that's, you know, I'm not saying that that's absolute, like that's the absolute proof that our country isn't the United States of America, a country. It's United States of America, the corporation. I'm not saying it's 100% proof, but it for damn sure is one of those societal truths that all of us can look at. We can look at different prolific trials, whether it was O.J. Simpson and all of his money, or whoever. We know that money runs the courtroom. So if you needed...
I can certainly attest to that. Even in my divorce trial, it was who had the best attorney, who had the most money, won.
Yeah.
And I won't take up time giving you details about this, but if you knew the circumstances, and a lot of my ABF family remembers, it was horrific, and there was no justice.
Well, did it feel like justice, or did it feel like you were in some strange business and whoever spent the most money won?
I felt like I was in a horror movie because this went on for 10 years. I lost custody of my children. My ex-husband and his wife, number 4, decided I was irrelevant because she had a stepmom. So they decided not to let me see her for 5 years. And I couldn't do anything about it because I didn't have the money that they had.
It all came down to
money.
money.
You know, the Reader's Digest version.
Now, how would that be different in a common law court, Shayne?
In a common law court, there would be it'd be unbiased, and it would be run from a logical perspective.
With a true jury of her actual peers.
A true jury of the actual peers, the law being upheld. You wouldn't need an attorney. You could use a lawyer. The Bar Association can stay out of this because the Bar Association wouldn't exist if the law was being followed. It's a monopolistic union. It's a union.
Now, what's the problem with the bar?
The Bar Association runs off of the UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, which is the text, the most paramount text that governs international commerce over the high seas. You got law of the land, which each country is different. So you got to have a way for all of these countries who are doing commerce with one another, how to operate
international commerce.
International commerce for everyone to have the same regulations. We good?
Yeah, people calling.
So they run on commercial law. They operate as for-profit entities, and they use commercial law in place of the common law. So you can't take the law of the sea and put it on land. Simple as that. That's why any court you ever go into, you can do this if you want. The methodology might not be the best for you if you're just starting out, but it actually may serve you very well, which is to challenge the court's jurisdiction. There's something called a demur, D-E-M-U-R, and that is when you demand from the prosecutor that there be a victim, and you demand from the judge that he provides what jurisdiction the court is in, and they're operating in Admiralty Maritime Law. And I'm sure there's some folks out there who are privy to this, and hence the gold tassels on the flag. If you ask them this question and they don't answer, they're in default.
You're getting a little advanced there, buddy. You're getting a little advanced.
Yeah, I get carried away, man. You've seen that in the video.
Right. There are American flags everywhere that have gold fringe around them. And you see them in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and courtrooms. The federal law, and everyone can look this up on Google while they're listening, the federal law clearly states there is only room for red, white, and blue. That's it. Anytime there's a gold fringe flag, you are under, if you step into a building that is waving a gold fringe flag, then you have stepped into a foreign enclave that is run by military maritime law. I know all of this sounds crazy, but I want you to ask yourself something. Everybody who's listening to all of this and going, what in the fuck are they talking about? Or, gold fringe flags, sovereignty, I don't get it. Ask yourself this. You don't even have to have all of this information. Can't you tell that something is amiss in this country? Can't you tell that something is wrong? Don't you see it? Don't you feel it like the rest of us? Don't you? And it's hard to put your finger on. It's almost impossible to put your finger on. The reason why constitutional activists separate themselves from the rest of the activist scene is because all of us show up. Anonymous, everybody. We all show up and we all bitch about the same things. Mainstream media, the country sucks, it's been taken over, we gotta get it back. The only community that has ever shown up with different answers is the constitutional activist community. They're the ones that have shown up and said, well, I can tell you when it happened.
1861 when the war started, but the Lieber Code was put into effect 1863.
So they give you the history. They say, this is when it happened. This is how it happened. This is who did it. And this is why shit doesn't seem to make any damn sense in this country.
Danger corporation. Danger corporation.
Yeah, we constantly have our rights being taken away that we think we have, and then we find out we don't have them, but by the time we find out we don't have them, we're sitting in a damn jail cell, or we've lost the rights to see our children, or whatever, because the shit doesn't make any sense. So if you can agree to that, just on a basic premise, that things do not seem to make sense in this country, I would implore everybody to seek out constitutional activists. Look for this guy. Find him. They have the answers. They're the one. That's why they're labeled as domestic terrorists, because they're the ones with the actual answers as to why everything is so wrong and fucked up.
And real quick,
go ahead.
It's about following rabbit holes. So you could go. It's as simple as this: is going up to looking up the definition of law. Then from there, you find other definitions. From there, you look about how law has been applied over the span of human history. There's all kinds of ways to fall into this. And if you care, then you're going to start to learn. That's what it is. As simple as that. If you care enough to stop drinking, you're going to stop drinking, so to speak.
I mean, you can see why, Shayne would be labeled a terrorist. When you are in this country in 2015 and you start talking about ways to empower people, you start telling them history, you start telling them truth, you start telling them law, organic law, you start telling them their country was taken over by a corporation and corporate law, and things do start to make sense, man.
Sure.
Like, I'm a critic. I don't believe anybody. I don't trust anybody. I don't. And, so you can tell me that the Bar Association... The BAR is an acronym that stands for British Accredited Registry, which means to become an attorney, you have to register with the Brits. What the fuck is that about?
Let's also remember the word Esquire is a
that's
title
why when it says attorney, you'll see Esquire afterwards, and then explain that.
Well, Esquire is a title of nobility, I believe, below a knight, above a nobleman, something to that effect. It's there to be researched, and no titles of nobility are allowed to be had and play and be in public office. You can't be in an office, a position of trust or profit, and hold a title of nobility. And we got the original 13th Amendment, which can be researched. And also, I forget which article in the Constitution which speaks to titles of nobility. But we wanted to keep the damn Brits out.
Yeah.
But the question is, did we ever leave their stronghold because of the money that they gave the colonies to be started and the wars between France and England?
Yeah, we were in serious war debt.
The
serious
whole thing.
War debt.
So let's talk about the Rothschilds for half a minute. Fuck the Rothschilds for half a minute.
Yeah, I don't think the live stream would have been complete without saying fuck the Rothschilds.
Fuck the Rothschilds.
Yeah, and the 1% that hate us.
Rockefellers.
Anybody else on TalkShoe that wants to chime in? All right, cool.
I just want to say real quick, Shayne, I love you, brother.
Love you, dog.
That's why when I got that phone call, like I woke up, I was on the ball, brother, to do what we had to do to get you home, man. Because just before that incident happened, man, it's not a secret. We was arm in arm. We was laughing. We was joking. We was laughing with the Columbus police. We was
Yep.
We was walking down Parsons Avenue screaming and hollering. I love you, brother. You stood back to back with me and side by side, man, and I love you, man.
Righteous beasts unite, brother. I love you too.
I know it.
Hell yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull up. Yeah, it's a good time, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Free Man Fridays.
Yeah, Free Man Fridays.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna form the Sovereign Council and get a bunch of people who are interested in sovereignty and already into constitutional activism, and get everybody together and just council. We'll talk about the law and talk about what's going on and the ways to handle Shayne's case, Lotus Justice's case, and ways that we can affect remedy within the law.
Yes.
I don't know about the rest of you, man, but this video, it's actually kind of heartbreaking
It's
for
disturbing.
me. It is disturbing. Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. Here we go.
Here we go.
I let you know what the law is. You don't know it. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. If I ain't listening to shit. The only thing you can do is let me out of these motherfuckers and go about my day. You ain't saying shit. You have no standing. I'm calm. You have no standing.
That's lots of intensity. The reason for the intensity is because the current state of affairs in this nation. And I knew that there was people there watching. There was plenty of our friends on these front porches. And I felt very confident that these officers would not tase me or kill me, or tase me or shoot me, with the cameras and the people. This is why I found it to be necessary.
And conducive.
To do actually what I've done before, which is let these people know in a very stern way that they're not being gentlemen and they're in bad form. And I can't help but continue to be strong on that. And you see that in this. It's pretty amazing watching it again.
Yeah, you're telling him he doesn't have standing, so.
Right.
Where's the blood coming from?
Where's the blood coming from? You're fucked up. Mob mentality. Mob mentality. I haven't raised it. And right to be an asshole if I got tackled. Don't try to fucking plant me. Don't plant me. Don't plant me. I'll stop when I'm done. I'll stop when I'm done.
Listen,
I earned this.
Did you guys request Shayne on yet?
Call your fucking chief. Call your fucking chief.
These guys try to act like your best friend after they know they've crossed the line and there's someone there who is going to make them retrospect. And that's when they start to pet you and act like your buddy. And I wasn't too happy about that, as I should not have been. And then these guys needed to know, because I bet you $100, the rest of their life, they're going to remember this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about making an impact and about setting a course of events that's going to be more positive for the community. Hopefully these gentlemen operate in a different fashion anytime they stop anybody ever.
Well, as your voice is raised, you are saying you're not in good form, you don't have standing. That's impactful.
Right.
You know, I mean, it would be a long time before they forget it, I'll tell you that.
That's absolutely right, yeah.
Let's try to watch the rest of this,
Yes,
and
sir.
then I know you guys have been on here listening to us yammer for a while. We'll get everybody out of here.
You know these ones here. Well, I got to
Calm down. We're gonna stand you up. We're gonna stand you up, but we're gonna keep you covered up, okay?
You keep me covered up, and you ain't putting me in the back of the car. Trust me. No, sir, I'm not. You don't realize each action. No. I'm a prisoner of war. I'm a prisoner of war.
That's legit. Lieber Code.
Oh, that's, yeah. Real quick, you had referenced the Lieber Code, 1861 when the war started. Then a few years later, they start the 1863, the Lieber Code. And since then, we've been under martial law, which makes you a prisoner of war, because these guys are, they would be the stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah. So, in case people were confused about that.
Right on. That's the famous blanket. These guys are so rude.
That's pretty much it for that video.
I know.
Yeah.
I was looking out the window. He did not
End of it.
I know.
You can hear them saying he did not resist.
Right.
By the way, This is his phone. It's recording the whole time.
So there we go. That's the video. Yeah, fucking. All right, guys. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate everybody who's joined in with us. I tell you what, we'll stick around another couple minutes here. Let me flip over here. 724-444-7444. And the call ID PIN number is 139547. We'll stay on another 10 minutes in case somebody else wants to call in and get their word in. It's 724-444-744. Call ID 139547. So to wrap this up, are you getting tired on me, buddy?
No, man, I'm a damn Energizer bunny.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be. All right, man. We appreciate everyone who's joined us tonight.
Absolutely.
Everybody who's shared out the video, shared out the stream. It was just this weekend that this happened, right in front of my front door, actually.
Yeah.
I should pick up the laptop and open the door and show everybody where it happened.
Whatever's clever.
Yeah, this was just the other night, and Shayne asserted his rights in a way that we don't see commonly, but has intrigued a lot of people. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to do what he did and continue, even after being assaulted. He continued to say, you have no standing, you violated my constitutional rights.
To call the chief, to call the judge, the duty judge, that's 24 hours on deck. It doesn't matter if you're sleeping or not, because these guys can make that call.
Now, who is that? Who is the duty judge?
The duty judge is a judge, I forget the exact definition of what he does, but I know that he's in every county and that he's 24 hours. And that he is there to get people out of jail, say, for instance, habeas corpus, when you're unlawfully detained. You have a right to file habeas corpus, and that is in a hearing to see whether you're detained lawfully or not, as to not have people sitting in jail who have no reason to be there. But they don't really listen to these. They don't hear them at all. It's like ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, so we appreciate everybody, man. All the support that's come out. We have upcoming court dates. We'll keep everybody posted. We've got upcoming events concerning this arrest. We've got a meeting with the police. We'll let everybody know how that goes. Look, man, not all police are bad, but Shayne found the shittiest one in Pataskala.
It seems to keep happening. The brighter the light, the darker the cloud. We're gonna break through that motherfucker.
He was like a heat-seeking missile, dude. He was like, which one of you's an asshole? And he found him, and it was kind of amazing. So,
laws of physics.
Yeah, you're like a heat-seeking missile for dickheads, dude. You can just find them.
I bet you anybody here who's listening, who's a righteous badass, we already know the stronger you get in your goodness, the more the evil comes at the damn woodwork, whether it be a rabbit, or a damn whatever, or a human, usually humans.
Yeah, yeah, and you think you're gonna come out of this unscathed, you're nuts. Because if you're gonna fight for freedom, you stand to lose. And any man or woman that has something to lose can feel fear. But let me tell you, if you allow yourself to be fear-driven, buying into all the crap that comes on our TVs, we're going to have terrorism, we're going to have wars, everyone's going to die, we're going to blow up McDonald's, whatever. You have to break away from that. You have to. Do not allow yourselves to be driven by fear.
Think for yourself and you'll be free.
There it is, man. All right, Shayne, man, anything else you want to say before we go? Tell the world some beautiful stuff.
Ja lublю тебя, wa aini, ich liebe dich, te amo. Say I love you in Russian, Mandarin, Chinese, German, what else? Spanish. Love y'all. See you soon.
All right, man. That's Shayne. I'm some long-haired guy. And,
I have hair, by the way.
Oh, dang, look at that. A little bit of a mop chop.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, he's working on it. It's not quite there yet.
My little wub.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, man. We love you guys.
Love
we
y'all.
love everybody on Talk Shoe that called in. We love you guys. You guys are our brothers and sisters, man.
And please feedback if you want to hear more. If you want us to do this again, we'd love to be on.
Yeah.
If people are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to hear more about constitutional activism, more about your rights, more about how to handle police responsibly, man, hit us up. We are your hub for
Hubba.
We're your hubba. So come check out your hubba.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks, man. We love you guys.
Ladies.
Thank you.
Perfect. That was fun, dude.
Nope. Hold on. We're still going.
We're still on. That was fun,
Yeah.
dude.